All right, peace, peace, peace. Well, first and foremost, man, hopefully the Most High in your house shines blessing all day. By His mercies, we are consumed. We're alive in the Most High in your house, His body, and truly naturally alive. Man, and I want to get into this because I was watching the shout out to the sister too. It's a YouTube channel. It's about, she kind of goes into it's called For the Nostalgia. She does different movies and things of that nature, reviews and things of that nature. And recently, 2 days ago, she did one about He Got Game. And honestly, we're not going to actually fully, because you sometimes too we do movie, these dang on flies. We do movie reviews a lot of times here, but usually it's movies I seen in theaters, or you brothers and sisters seen in theaters recent, but sometimes in the past we have gone over movies in the past, kind of reviewed them in the past. So I want to talk about, honestly, He Got Game for a minute, man, because it's a Spike Lee movie that came out in 1998. Classic movies, one of his best, man. But and I actually even the characters in it, when Denzel, Ray Allen, and some other people, I'm forgetting, it's a little late, but it has a lot of even spiritual meanings in it, man. Spiritual, it's just, you could tell, it was just based. It's just crazy, right? Because because Ray Allen's character, his name is really Jesus Shuttleworth, or Howard Shaw, but Jesus Shuttleworth, and his father, played by Denzel, name is Jake. So there, that even tells you. But there's a lot of elements to that He Got Game to this movie. But the main thing too, like the sister said, and I want to go into this, man, because us brothers and sisters go through is us brothers and sisters in the Word, even outside the Word, man, go through this. People in general, man, certain, because what is a key thing in that movie is that what you call him, that everybody wanted something from him, honestly, and that's what Proverbs 30 goes into, about being a leech. And shout out to that sister. It was called. I might put the video in the movie review in the description box, because, man, that's what she was saying, that because I seen a movie a lot of times, but I was like, what, she's right. If we really analyze him, it was literally everybody around him, because he was a young high school commodity. He's a young up and coming star, high school superstar. A lot like a LeBron James when he's almost 20 plus years ago, when he's coming out of high school, things of that nature. Everybody, he was going to college, college superstar, I should say, because LeBron didn't go, but to college. But y'all know what I mean. But he's the upcoming star, coming out, going to go to the league, and he had to pick a college. I'm sorry, but so yeah, he was a high school superstar, but he just didn't go to but he was just going to college. He didn't go to a league like LeBron, straight from high school to a league Kevin Garnett or Kobe or LeBron did. He didn't do that, honestly. But yeah, man. But everybody wanted something from him, honestly. That's why, Proverbs 30 says what it says, man. But because really, when she was really analyzing the movie, I was like, yeah. And Proverbs 30 at least came to mind as well, man. Because and we're gonna read this, man, because that's what we talk about here a lot of times too, on spiritual, or quote unquote, as they say, energy vampires, man. Because certain people, what I was thinking about, man, certain people, I know that's the point of it, right? Because I was thinking about this earlier. It might not make sense. It might be stupid. It might be a dumb analogy, but whatever, right? Because a lot of times people treat other that people that are very generous, very kind-hearted, very, very giving, man. As a it's like a spiritual pinata, right? Even though the point of a pinata is to break and get what you want, but regular people use people as pinatas, right? Because think about the concept of a pinata, right? You try to hit something, and hit it until something comes out. Honestly, that's what it is. Until your own wants or desires. Usually it's in candy in there, but let's look at an aspect of your own wants, your own desires. Some people just get all this stuff, hit until they get these their own wants and desires out of them, and they just move on, man. And a lot of times too, what's what pinata? And not only one person does it, multiple people do it, man. And that's just what it is. Nobody ever checks to see I use that to say because that was the only thing, come up like in my mind, man. But that's is what it is. Now that's not saying like to be because we don't want to get on inverted side of like not giving or like like the scriptures say like like Galatians says in other parts it says be not weary of well doing, man. Because no, you don't want to do that because like no, even if it is like that don't mean you stop doing some stuff for people, man. Because that's why because even the word talks about that. No, let's get that for real quick, man. Because let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 29, because the word goes into how many people stop like giving, man, because things like this or because of other people's like doings, man. Because like the word says, man, like James 5:17 says, man, these are like people at the end of the day, because the human like psyche, man, that's like eventually gonna get tired, man. But like 'cause especially I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters dealt with this as well. I've dealt with it, like I deal with it time to time, and not seeing other people deal with this, like constantly action, like this when people come, because this too. That's why like but no, we're gonna go into that point a little later. Let's get at this too. Ecclesiastes, also known as Sarai, chapter 29, verse 7. Many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealings, fearing to be defrauded. So see, yeah, man. Certain people don't even like help anymore, man, because because how done dirty, like how they were done dirty in the past, or how people like they just like the elder brother Junior Max said one time, man, in monstrosity. Some people just ain't come in your life. It's not even a lot of times just money or like finance and stuff like that. It's just like they would like quote unquote spiritual or energy vampires. They'll just suck the life out of you, and they just leave and go into the next person, man. And it comes back and back and back, man. So that's is what it is, man. So but yeah, man, that is what it is. But what was I going to say? Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, and that's why really being in the Most High House Shaw's image, man, because the Most High, because it's too general, like natural man doesn't like it. So how much more does the Most High House Shah like that? That's why he says worship him in sincerity and truth, man. Because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure your brothers and sisters can attest to this. We that like you don't hear from this said person or party or something or certain people like that that you don't never hear from them like that unless they need something, man. Like how do you think how much more is that with the Most High House Shah, man? Because that's why the Most High House Shah don't fool with stuff like that, man. It's really about their mercy sometimes, how they really for their namesake who they are, how they deliver people like that don't even deserve it. Shoot, that's really with all of us, honestly, with everybody, but that really don't deserve it out of situations, but but mainly people that really don't deserve it, man, honestly, like because that's that Matthew 5:45, man, that sheds sunshine on just and the unjust, man. But that's just neither here nor there, man. But going back to the movie, man, like because really if you look at if you examine the movie, man, he really had like he and also too, man, he really had nobody like in his corner like that, man. He only had really his pop Jake was the tried to guide him and things of that nature, and he actually did care for him and did love his son. And actually they were very similar, but only the other person that he had was his younger sister. But it's like he was taking care of her. That's his younger sister. So and plus, when you're going through trials and tribulation, you're going through like development, especially in manhood. Like you need to be surrounded with other brothers, other men. Honestly, you can't be around like too much. You your girl, your wife, your daughter, your little sister. Your nieces or nephews or stuff like. No, you gotta be around other other brothers, man, other men, honestly. So that's just neither here nor there. But honestly, too, man, yeah. But let's get there, cause like he was like, as the sister said in the movie review, he was surrounded by leeches, man. That's just one of the good movies that examples of that, how people just because everybody around him wanted something, man. And never even check, because what it is too, never even check to see if he was okay about him, man. Honestly, the stuff that he had gone through and he was going through during the time, even in his lifetime, man. Like but let's get this Proverbs chapter 30 verse 15. It says the horse leech had two daughters. It says give. There are three things that are not satisfied, and four things are it is not enough. So see, and that's the thing too, right? Because like Mike Epps said a lot of times too. He said, man, you could do so much for somebody, so much for people, man. And it can never be enough, man. That's why the word even says the eyes of men are never satisfied, man. So yeah, man, that's just it, man. Also too, in the movie Jacob, honestly, he has 7 days to get his son back, man. So the sign, no, because for what you call for Jake to get out of the prison, you know, Jesus or had to sign had to sign, and he had to pick a school. He had to pick I think the school is called the Big University, and also too pick the school, and also too he had to sign some form that would get Jake out of prison. Even so, that's a lot of spiritual elements to it, because what spiritually, how can that be looked at? How Yahushua got us out of sin and death, honestly. Now we get in the covenant with him, we're in the contract with him. Or how even now, no, but even we broke the old covenant, the old contract. Now by his mercy, he made a new one, so we could be saved by sinning, but from sin and death, man, honestly, and be led back to the Father through him. And that kind of goes to show you what we was talking about earlier, he will save or deliver people, looks out for people that don't even deserve it, man, because we don't even deserve it, man. It's really by his mercies you aren't consumed, like we say every day, because that because of what our ancestors, our forefathers, yeah, man, that's is what it is. So yeah, but that element, and too, and also too, what element I could see why, elements, biblical and spiritual elements to this as well. Was especially when Jesus Shuttleworth, or Ray Allen, or Jesus Shuttleworth in the movie, he goes and he visits that girl, that was that Puerto Rican girl name, his girlfriend, that she was one of those things, she was covetous, she just didn't care about him at all either. But she visited somebody, a friend of his that was a sports agent, and he kept talking about, he talked about, if you seen the movie, I didn't think about it till the sister said it, but he talked about everything but the business, or how how could how could Jesus Shuttleworth, he could generate finances, or just betterment for himself and his family, his loved ones around him, man, or how he can get himself more of a better situation, honestly, contractually, so he doesn't end up at current athletes, or past athletes and things of that nature, or what we always see, going broke, things. And she used to talk about the cars and stuff like that, and this and this and that, and the character of Jesus Shuttleworth, he wasn't with all that. He's like, yeah, I'm not with that, man. It's kind of similar to Matthew 4, how Satan, showed, Yahushua the kingdoms of the earth, man. That Yahushua being Jesus, of course, and Yahushua said no, man. He stuck to the word, of course. But that was just little things, that's why we always talk about watching and listening to things with spiritual eyes and ears. But anyway, man, yeah, let's Proverbs chapter 30 verse 15. It says, the horse leech had two daughters, crying, give. There are three things that are not satisfied. Yea, four things are not enough. Yeah, so yeah, man. So, and another aspect of this movie, man, as well, man, is the character. See that, and that's also too how Jake shit. You know what? I'm glad we're going into this. Let's go to Proverbs 25 real quick, man. Because Jake, Jacob, played by Denzel Washington, man. This really underlying theme of how Jake, should have self-control, man. Honestly, because he ended up accidentally killing his wife, man. Because and also too, there's a lot of aspects that's coming to me now, how. There's a lot of actually biblical elements in this movie. Let's go Proverbs 25 and 28 real quick. It says, he that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. And with y'all that seen the movie know that that scene in the kitchen where he accidentally killed his wife, man, he after a younger Jesus Shuttleworth, he quit basketball because his father was going too hard on, like, really going hard on her, man. But from his perspective, he was just training him up, to prepare him for what it was. But also too, man, that's why you gotta love. You gotta show that love to to your children, man. Like, father and son and mother and daughter, and even all that stuff, man. Like, it's good, but they gotta have to feel love too, man. Because it's like, yeah, you did all that stuff too, but it's like, all right, that's it. Because it's a different time period. Because some people express their love differently, but it's like, no, yeah, man. Because like, you don't want to remove that compassion without, outside somebody, man. Because that's why a lot of people don't aren't loved out here, man. Because even one sister I was talking to a while back, she told me how one time the only hug that she got her life by her father was on her high school senior trip, and that's why, with her, anyway, it was like she really was kind of a little cold, and just didn't really, just didn't really know how to, cause certain people, they're that's why we talked about this before, because I noticed this a lot, just me personally, this is not always the case, man, because there's plenty of people that come from affluent backgrounds, especially our people with affluent backgrounds, and they felt loved by their parents and things of that nature. But usually it's when you're in poverty, and because love is all you really got, honestly, man. Because that's what, or not, you're not poverty, or just not even, or just making it, honestly. I don't want to say poverty too much, or just when you're poor, when you don't have as much, honestly. But the love is just there, honestly. That rather than, because I noticed that in my lifetime, knowing people like that, they can't have everything, growing up, their needs and stuff like that, the necessities taken care of, but certain morals and principles and stuff like that wasn't, not saying they weren't instilled, but they weren't as focused on, in that, that, lack of love kind of ain't there. But rather than, because I'm pretty sure with y'all brothers, this is what and with my people, man, we this time might it was my mother, brother, and sisters, we cried together, we hugged together, man. We did that stuff, man. So that's is what it is. But I notice a lot of times too, people that come from more affluent backgrounds, that's not really the case, honestly. That's I could be wrong though. That's not every case, but more likely that's usually what happens, man. That's why Jay-Z even said on Song Cry, he said, man, we was great, when we were poor, but man, when we got rich, man, that's when things started to happen, man. So, I'm not saying if you have money, you can't, that's not what I'm saying. You're impossible of, having compassion and, as they say, empathy or just love and things, and that's not what I'm saying, but, anyway, that's neither here nor there, but also, too, an element of this is, there's other two elements of this as far as Jake, man. This is actually what, even through the movie, what it was saying is Jake don't do these things, man, because Jake, the character of Jake, honestly, and I'm saying, when I say Jake as well, I'm talking about our people, man. Jacob, Israel, our people, but really not to provoke our children to wrath, and that was another element to this movie, which the character Jake, played by Denzel Washington, did. Let's hit this Ephesians real quick. Hold on, y'all. Shoot. Hold on, y'all. Here it is, Ephesians chapter 6:4. It says, "And fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in nurture, and the admonition of the Lord." So see, kind of everything that we was just talking about, man. My bad. That's what I was trying to say in a roundabout way. I kind of extended the long-winded thing. My bad, y'all. I kind of got working on that, just slowing down. But yeah, this is really summed up what I meant to say, honestly. But it says, and fathers, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord, man. And most importantly, the godly love, man, is really what we need, honestly. Of course, man. Like it really, that's is what it is, man. A godly love, man, because that's why it says that when the love of many will wax cold. Because really, if people don't love the Most High Yahshua, they're not gonna love each other, man. Honestly, now you can love honestly that, but really, the Most High Yahshua's godly love, like spiritual love, that lasts way, way, way longer, and it covers everything. It covers if everyone on this earth was following that, man, then shoot, the kingdom even would be here, man. Honestly, the world will be paradise. Now let me say this too. This is all the Most High Yahshua's will, because even if like hypothetically every member of our people does that throughout the world, this still isn't gonna stop, man, because it's all the Most High Yahshua's will. Then but it's. That's what I really meant to say too. I just want to put that disclaimer out too, but I meant to say as in that's really what's missing, man, because that's really what the Most High Yahshua is waiting on, honestly. But that's a lot with that. But anyway, Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4, and ye fathers, provoke your not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. So see that, and that's what he did. Jacob, put Jake and did in the movie, man, with Jesus Shuttleworth, played by Ray Allen, man. He kind of provoked him to wrath, man, but he even when you watch the movie, he did love his father too, but he ends up kind of forgiving them, but it is what it is, though. But also too, here's another thing in the element in that movie, man. Just don't have to be. That's what the word says, man. Just because you're in charge in a leadership position, man, that doesn't mean you could treat your subordinates or people under your order any way, though. That's why the word says, "Be not lying in your household, man." And I think that honestly, that was Jake's biggest problem, honestly, in the movie, man. Honestly, even Jake, our people, man, a lot of times too, man, because honestly, no, that's not one of the biggest problem, but also too, because what it is too. Especially I'll say this in the word too as well, man, because listen, just because man, we brothers, especially brothers, we get come his word, and because the brother Kwame calls and Shalom said one time, he says, because man, we get in the word, man, but brothers, it's a feeling of power that you got back, man, because listen, the prophecy is even tells us this, how our nation will be, man, how our people will be. Women and children shall rule over and things of that nature. But when you get in the word, you get you feel like you get your power back, especially as a man, because it's stuff like that as men that I didn't get growing up, man. Some of these things that the game that I got growing up from older men in my family, teachers or around the way, things of that nature I got, but a lot of things about manhood I didn't know, I'm learning from who better from the Most High Yahshua, from from the Heavenly Father, who better teach about manhood than that. You feel like you got your your power back, but now we're interacting with women, or now your wife or significant other, now you just being the tyrant, or the lion, scriptures say, and you don't want to do that, man, honestly, man. So because I think that was Jake's his one of his problems in the movie too. It says even with your wife or your children, man, that's why the word says it, man. Be not a lion in your house, man. But we can read this. Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach chapter 4 verse 30. It says, "Be not a lion in thy house, nor frantic among the servants." So yeah, man, that's is what it is, man. So that's his whole nother story. But yeah, that was another element of that, man, because you see how even in the flashback scenes in the movie, how he was really kind of really rough on young Jesus Shuttleworth, and a lot of times too, he's really preparing him, especially as a man, for the world, man, because Godfather said, women and children can be careless, men cannot. So I understand that from that perspective, man, but it was really more balanced a lot of times too, because a lot of times like certain men, like certain brothers, like whether in the war out the war, can take it overboard, man. It's like no, man, this is balance, man, because the Most High house shot is balance, man, because the Most High house shot wasn't like that, like towards us, like to his wife, or like he's not like like that, man. So yeah, man, this is what it is, man. Hopefully this is edifying, man. Like this is a He Got Game review, man. Yeah, man, because there's a lot of elements to this movie, man. I probably gotta watch it again, but I watched that movie review. I was like, and today's the 30th. I was like, yeah, man. Even kind of what I like, what probably you brothers and sisters go through, what I've been going through, man. You kind of, and a lot of times we talk about energy vampires, or like the spiritual vampires, or energy vampires, or like people that like leeches and stuff like that. Like, yeah, man. Certain times, like just gotta get away from those, man. And it's not saying not to help anybody, not even to be compassionate and care about other people as well, man. That's what it is. But certain people is like, yeah, okay, it's like it's never gonna be enough. Like so yeah, man. And also too, to check. Hopefully, I'm not that way to anybody or any people to people, man. Check like that, honestly, too, man. Cause I remember like this is how me personally. I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters try to move and I try to move, man. Like the actor, I think his name, he played Bobby Brown. He was on the Power spinoff. Woody Harrelson. I think no Woody something, man. He said it. I wish I could find the clip. He said, "Man, I don't even like asking stuff like that for people, man, because asking for things for people, man, because I don't want to feel like I'm just misusing them, man. Because there's nothing wrong with being used, because of course you want to be used, you just don't want to be misused, and that's what he was saying, man. I don't want to feel like I'm just misusing them, just reaching out to them because I need something, man. I don't like, me personally, I don't even like doing that. Honestly, I really don't, honestly, because me personally, not to say I'm so great and things like that, but me, I just rather see how you doing. Then if I do need something, then yeah, I'll really. But I was like, nah, man, I like it is what. Even 50 said it that one time, man. He said, listen, man, great a thing to stand by or to live by is like, listen, don't act like don't need anything, honestly, man. Don't, because the more. Like, but I get what he was saying. Cause some is partially true and not true. But he said the more that you don't, like, the less you actually did. When the moments stuff like that, when you don't need anything, man, that's when more people start to, like, just say, all right, cool. Hey, hey, man, do you need this and this and this? Hey, brother, do you need this? Hey, sis, do you need this such and such and such? But when you need it, man, there's a very few, like, that actually, like, cause it's really, like, hard to find when you actually need, like, help when for people to help you out, man. So but that's just a balanced conversation, but hopefully it's edifying. So yeah, peace.